Hello and welcome, my friends. Welcome to Thursday and welcome to Mars in retrograde. I warned you guys in the Mercury in retrograde reading, Mars was following suit this week. Here we are. Now, I know that on my channel, and I'm not the only one, who focuses in a lot on Mercury, because when Mercury's in retrograde, it impacts our communication and we really struggle as a species. However, when Mars and/or Venus actually goes into retrograde, it still impacts us because those are the three personal planets: Mercury, Mars, and Venus. Of course, Mercury is the communication planet, Mars is the action planet, and Venus is the love planet. So when they're in retrograde, it does impact us. However, a lot of times it's harder to identify. Unlike when Mercury's in retrograde, we can be like, oh, that makes sense. We don't always put two and two together when other personal planets are in retrograde. So I wanted to start to acknowledge their impact on us. And you will see when Venus goes into retrograde in 2025, I will do another reading for Venus in retrograde, but to acknowledge how it's going to impact us. And then what's more, look at how to move past it, move through it. So for this reading, I do have the Tarot Draconis. For retrograde readings, I like the Wild Unknown Tarot. However, I used it last week. And because we have Mars going into retrograde in Sagittarius, I'm like, hello, dragons, because it's fire and crunchy. I did, however, bring back the Chakra Wisdom Oracle just to add some soothing harmony to the read. Because, let's be honest, yeah. Mars, of course, is the Roman aspect of Ares, the god of war. So, sure, when we have a retrograde of Mars, does it impact our action? Sure. However, it also impacts the anger and frustration, which doesn't help when we're dealing with the holidays and Mercury in retrograde during Sagittarius. There's already a lot of easy snap, crackle, and pop there. So, yeah, we want to look at that action piece, but more importantly, it's going to be the whole package, because Mars is in retrograde till February. I'm going to double check. I want to say the 24th. So Mars will go direct on the 24th of February. And this is why Mars is not in retrograde as much either, because Mercury's closer to the sun, so it orbits much faster. Mars and Venus, they're on the outside, like on the far side of the Earth, so it takes them longer, and they're in retrograde for longer. So it's going to impact more because, well, there's more to impact. We have the Ace of Pentacles. I love his look, like, The Two of Wands, the Moon, the Four of Cups, and then we have the Queen of Swords in reversal. So right away, I want to address the Queen. This is the Queen that has learned all her knowledge through firsthand experience. When she's in reversal, she becomes that ice bee that nobody wants to deal with. And we don't need that. It doesn't matter what gender we identify with. That very cold stone, authoritative psychopath is what comes to mind. But you know what I mean? The energy that's just like, it's my way or the highway. Especially right now with Mercury in retrograde, Sagittarius looming large, the holidays, it's a lot. Flexibility is going to be needed. Additionally, that knowledge, using our head, thinking things through. similar to Mercury in retrograde, we want to stay in awareness and control of self, because we can easily turn this very knowledgeable, very compassionate and understanding queen to an advantage rather than a challenge. Now, the Ace of Pentacles reminds us that we need to stay in control and stable and grounded, so we're not spewing and trying to char people to cinders. You have to remember our reactivity is going to be higher than high because we're not understanding and communicating properly, and there's a lot we're trying to achieve and overcome and do. And as we transcend into January and then into February, over the next 3 months, this flaming roar is going to come out in different ways. And know that aggression and frustration doesn't always come out in fisticuffs where we want to, eat people. It's going to come out in emotion, passive aggressiveness. We're multidimensional beings, we're multifaceted, and we don't do things the same way. We don't react in the same way. We need to be very mindful and very stable in self to understand where we're at, to help us to move ourselves forward. And that forward does talk about working with people. We can't recluse ourselves. We can't avoid. Avoidance only brings in the tower, because you pretty much stick your head in the sand and your butt in the air. And let's be honest, the universe likes to yeet us forward when we do it. It doesn't matter what challenges, uncertainty, fears that we have. We need to be able to trust in ourselves, trust in those foundational pieces to help make decisions, to move ourselves forward. The only way we can move forward is focusing in on filling our cup, not focusing in on the challenge or the problem. Usually these cups are overturned and spilling out yuck. We want to focus in on the positive, because the positive will light our way. We need to use our tools and our supports. The lunar energy, amazing support. It's a divine feminine energy that can have that compassion and nurturing that we need over the next 3 months to get over the hard parts, because there's going to be a lot of hard parts. When we use, all of our abilities, all of our skills to move forward and overcome the reactivity, very much, and I like this picture here, where he's just like, I'm just going to take a nap, because we are going to feel exhausted. We're going to feel very conflicted on things. We need to use all our tools to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves, that we're filling our cup rather than tipping it out. And yes, December is a very bad time to try and fill our cup. However, it's not always about rest and rejuvenation. That foundational in the 4 is going to be important. So it can be just even taking a little bit of time to have that laugh, a little bit of time for creativity, a little bit of time to give yourself maybe a quick pick-me-up nap. What do you need? And what is it that you can honestly facilitate into your day, into your right now? And if you're looking for an easy way to start to decompress some of this energy, an intentional bath or shower would help tremendously. And an intentional shower or bath, so anytime you're going to go into water, and this can include going for a swim, ask the high vibrational beings to help dump the toxic, the heavy, the whatever, the exhaustion. And if it's the exhaustion that you're feeling, you can ask them to help dump the exhaustion and fill you with the positive and filling energy that you need. Again, a game changer. You're not adding a lot of extra, because especially in December, you don't need that extra. but it does help to intentionally shift your energies. January and February, we have a better time to give ourselves a bit of time, right? There's not as much of a demand. So look at giving yourself extra time to fill your cup in whatever way you find meaningful. When we fill our cup, we're going to find it easier to deal with the distractions, the challenges, the frustration, and just even some of that physical heaviness. Because Mars is in retrograde. We're not going to feel like we've got that energy to climb that mountain. We're going to feel like, well, there's a mountain. My body won't do it. So we need to fill that cup in ways that are going to help us over that mountain. Yep. Finding the positive. High vibrational energy fuels us. So finding the fun, the joy, making the fun and joy. If this is a time of the year that's really struggling for you, start to look at planning forward on how you can add in those hints of fun and joy, those pick-me-ups. Focusing in on what brings you that joy will help you fill your cup. Dissipating. Like I said, don't stick your head in the sand. Don't try to put yourself in a room and just avoid. Will binging Netflix make you feel better? Maybe for a little bit, but again, have it time sensitive. Instead of binging the entire series of something, maybe watch one and then go do something else. Balance it out. Gossip. Yeah. Minimize the toxicity. And sometimes you can't. Sometimes the people that you're with are just, it's just a lot. You can change the subject. You can shift gears. You can take that break. Cord cut from toxic people. Cord cut from people that are taking, where it's not a balanced relationship or a balanced experience. Again, it goes back to using your head. What do you need to do so that you feel more able to find the fun, create the fun, see the colors, play in the snow, whatever it is that's going to help you shift your gears and move past the challenges. And sometimes we don't have to, and you have to remember this, we don't have to climb the mountain. We can go around, through. It doesn't mean that we don't always have to work as hard as we think we should. Sometimes we just need to work smarter. So if you know that you're dealing with a family or a friend who is very gossipy and toxic, you can minimize that challenge, their time, like the time you spend with them. Again, use your head. Think things through. We do have the Emperor there. The Ace of Cups. Very much same here. What I was saying, you cannot keep overturning your cup. Look at all these ones here. The Pentacle's like, woo, up in the air. The other two are like vomiting. It feels like they're throwing up their energy. And that's what it's going to be. We're not going to first and foremost go to and jump to using our head, filling our cup. It's going to be one of those, oh, I should have. It's going to feel more like we're vomiting. That's why that stability and control is important. And it's not control of others. We were not, like I said, we do not want to become that tyrant. We want to have control of self. That's going to be the game changer. Making sure that we feel like we are controlling our mind or in our body, that we are maintaining a good status quo, that foundation for ourselves. And we do have the double fours. And when we do have double fours, the angels remind us that we do need to focus in on our foundation, that stability, that structure. And we do have a Shwaka ones here. when we have that multiple one, the angels are encouraging you to trust in you, trust in your abilities. Again, that awareness and trust of self to access the tools, the abilities that we need when we need them, to fill our cup, to make sure that we are feeling the joy, the fulfillment, that excitement, rather than getting lost in the shuffle and getting caught up in the toxicity. Remembering that you need to stay in control of you so that you can set those intentions, that you can make those choices for you. Start at that foundation. Start with you. I want to thank you guys for joining me in this exploration of Mars in retrograde. Remember, this too shall pass, and you don't want to minimize or avoid so that you miss out on all the other pieces that will come forward as the time passes. If you did enjoy this session, please remember to give it a thumbs up and let me know what you're looking forward to the most over the next 3 months. And if you haven't done so, please don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell, as I have a lot more content coming forward with some extra special pieces coming up in the middle of December. You don't want to miss any of it. And if you're looking for an added layer of support, I do have a Patreon page. I provided a link below so you can go check it out. Again, I want to thank you for joining me in this exploration of Mars, and I hope that you do feel more empowered to use your head, check into you, and enjoy that full cup. Until tomorrow, my friends.